Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Elijah the Third Gen here today, making a video talking about one of my current favorite series that is ongoing in the Shonen Jump magazine, and that series is Mashle. Um, Mashle, let me get into the point. I wanted to make this video to get more people to read Mashle because I think it's a great series, and official English physical releases come out in July or August, I believe. And so I want to see a lot of hype come out when the English releases are to the public. So that's why I'm here making this video, because I just want more people to be reading Mashle. I think it's a amazing series right now in Shonen Jump. At about 65 chapters, I'm up to date. I don't exactly remember the chapter numbers, but yeah, I just wanted to make this video discussing it because it is one of my favorite series running right now. One of the main things about Mashle is its very unique sense of humor, at least from any gag manga that I've ever read. And that's what's great about it too, is I called it a gag manga, but it's become less of a gag manga to more of an action-based manga, and that's what MASH does perfectly, is it intertwines its humor and the fighting perfectly. And that's what I think MASH does great in its starting portions, is it's really centered around comedy, and then goes really deep into some really cool battles, and then recently has just been mixing it up, and it's been amazing. And that's why more people need to read it. It has a very unique sense of humor, where Mash is just meathead Mash, and he just does the most random stuff. I don't even know what to call it. But like recently, I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't read it or who aren't up to date. But so no spoilers. But the most recent chapters have just been hilarious with this one gag with Mash. Um, and then they've also been having some of the best fights we've seen in this series, and that's really cool because this series power system is such a generic power system that you're able to have these really sick powers, and the only explanation needs to be, yeah, that's just what his power is. And that's what's nice about a magic oriented series, that isn't like a nen type of magic, but just like magic. He casts fire, he casts rocks, he does gravity, all these different things. And Mash is born into this world without magic, and so he just gets absolutely jacked. He lives in a forest with this old guy who takes him in as a baby and teaches Mash how to work out. Mash gets absolutely ripped, and now he's just one of the strongest out there. And that's what's great about this series, is there's a lot of gags about Mash not having magic, but rather it being muscle magic, where he'll kick something with his leg and be like leg magic, or I believe there's a tricep magic moment. And it's great because he doesn't have magic, and it's the joke is ruined when someone explains it. I know, but I'm just trying to give you guys examples because this series is one of my favorites, and I think everybody, regardless age, whatever, like, just give this series a try. Go through the first 5 chapters. And if you're not hooked by then, hey, it's not for you. Um, but I know, first chapter came out for me. I read it, and I was in love ever since then. I've been reading it since day one, and that's why I feel like I have a more special attachment to it personally. Just because it's like the first manga I've read since chapter one and have built up to nowadays, and it's just really cool. Yeah. Another thing that Mashle does really good is its art style. It can oftentimes go from a very blobby, kind of jokey style to a very serious and impactful page, and it's really fun to see. And it's also really fun to see the mangaka do it so perfectly. And I mean, you get so many examples in the first chapter, if I'm remembering correct. It's absolutely amazing. And the only true downfall I think this manga has is its characters, and even then, it's such a minor thing that you're not too concerned. Like, let's take for example Mash, right? He's our MC. he's not very deep. He doesn't have magic. There's no abuse. There's no nothing unless it's abuse from the system being like, hey, you got no magic, you need to die. Because that's how the system works. No magic, you get killed. But besides that, Mashle's character isn't too deep. And then there's another character, Lemon, who is just very every character is very one dimensional, and I feel like that's not bad because in some series you can have very deep characters and they're great, right? But then very one dimensional characters are still great and fun to see on screen, and especially in a series like this that's very gag and then action, gag then action, it's fun to see, and you don't need to worry about here's this guy's deep backstory and all of this trauma. It's like, no, here's some cool fights, haha, poop joke, or something like that. And I see no problem with the characters not being deep or whatever. They're no profound characters. They're just characters. They feel like your generic manga characters, except for Mash, but every other character, Dot, Lemon, Lance, I can't think of any other characters, and that's the big thing. There's a handful of Wahlberg, there's a handful of characters, but none of them are rememberable, and that's okay because they come on screen and you know who they are. You're like, oh, that's Billy Bob. Oh, hey, there's Sherry. What's Sherry doing? But if you hear them mentioned for a second, you're kind of like, who? And then you remember, whereas other series like, say, Jujutsu Kaisen or My Hero Academia, hear somebody and My Hero go, Mirio, like right away, you're like, oh yeah, Mirio. And Jujutsu Kaisen, they're like, oh, Inumaki, oh, Inumaki. But with Mashle, they're like talking about something serious, and then it's like, oh, Lance, and then you're like, who, which one? And then it's like, oh, okay, it's that one after they talk a little more. And that's the only real downfall of MASH. The rest of it, I think, is an absolutely amazing series. And if you're okay with a series that feels like very filler, but not at the same time, and you'll get what I mean when I talk about it, that MASH has to go to this school and become the greatest there. And so in doing that, he gets a lot of fights, but it feels very fillerish because it's just like, yeah, MASH is going to do this stuff. None of it is, I don't know, maybe I'm just going on a tangent here. The start of the series is just very one-off chapters, like, here's Mash learning how to ride a broom, and it's like, okay, do we really need that? Here's Mash brewing a potion, okay, do we really need that? But, if you could get past that, and even those I found hilarious, because those are the gag-eccentric chapters, but then there's other chapters where there's, like, one of the dormitories battling with another one, and it's very intense. And so, as I said, it's a very beautiful contrast of gag and action. And then there's the one-off chapter every so often of just character interactions, and it's fun to see. And everybody should check out MASH. I mean, come on, Mashle is a great series right now. Check it out on Shonen Jump. $2 for a membership. You get every chapter for free. This isn't sponsored. I just want more people to go read it. Read the scans. I don't care. Do what you need to get some Mashle greatness in you. But either way, with all that said, if you did enjoy, if you want to see more videos like this where I recommend series or just talk about series that I have read in general, then please do leave a like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And if you want to talk about Mashle, leave a comment down below. I will reply as quick as I can. Until the next video. Peace.